Yeah, I got a new show for y'all.
Got a damn good show.
Anna Navarro, this woman is brain dead, stupid, dumb,
Yeah.
and retarded.
And Jesus warned us about women. That's why it's the first story in the Bible, man. Garden of Eden. One woman destroyed
Well,
everything.
she doesn't represent all women.
Oh, yes, she does. That's a good replication of women.
No.
There's a few exceptions.
Hey,
But the majority of women are kind of like,
hey,
Keith, women put men in the bathroom. Don't deny it.
well, there's a lot of good women out there.
It's a lot of good damn women. But the majority of them are crazy.
Just the conservative women are cool.
Yeah, the conservative women are cool. And sometimes you can't trust them.
Look at that Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah.
She's always voting liberal. All right, but anyway, this episode on CNN turned into a race war. And they had to cut the commercial break.
And I know why it became a race war, because of that woman right there.
Yeah, okay, watch this. This is nuts.
Breaking news. CNN learning that El Salvador has rejected the Trump administration's request to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That is the man who was mistakenly deported to a notorious mega prison over a month ago.
Mega prison?
From
Mega prison?
CNN, they just released ratings for the top 25 news shows.
Yeah.
CNN doesn't have no shows in the top 25.
I believe it.
Like the majority of them are, all of them are Fox News, and then there's a couple of MSNBC shows.
Mm-hmm.
But CNN has no shows in the top 25, and that's why she's calling that prison in El Salvador mega prison.
Yeah.
Stupid. All right, let's keep
That's
this going.
beyond stupid.
Yeah.
Maryland to El Salvador.
Number one, the children that you mentioned were not deported. They went with their mothers. Their mothers requested that the children come with them. So their mothers were deported because they were illegal aliens.
They didn't get through the process.
And so
to go through
they went.
process.
So there's really two choices here: split the family or keep the family together. The U.S. government's policy here was to let the mothers decide. The mothers decided to take the children. That's number one. On the Garcia case, effectively what you all are arguing for, passionately, and what Democrats are passionately arguing for, is for the President of the United States to re-import a dangerous member of a transnational terrorist organization who has clear affiliations with a gang that commits heinous atrocities. That is not what he was elected to do. And whether you bring him back here or not, I'm just going to explain to you the politics of this through telling you what the Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, did today, which is that he told his members, please, for the love of God, stop going to El Salvador and dying on this hill. The politics of this could not be worse for the left and worse for Democrats, because the president knows he was elected to protect us from MS-13, and that is what they are doing.
None of the things you just said have been proving.
What do you say about the tattoos?
I say that what Trump said yesterday was an absolute lie.
It's not. They're not.
Wait,
Photoshopped.
are you saying the MS-13 that Donald Trump claims are legitimate tattoos on this guy are true? Are you saying the Photoshop is true?
Are you a tattoo truther? I mean, I don't understand.
Wait, are you a Photoshop denier?
You're getting away from the issue. Hold on. Yeah, we are getting away from the issue.
Okay, this is the thing.
Yeah. MS-13, that's Photoshop to explain what those symbols stand for.
Yeah.
Like, no gang member's going to walk around and say, and tattoo, I'm a gang member. It's supposed to be, disguised as something else. It's supposed to be a symbol. You don't want to incriminate yourself with your tattoos.
Yeah. So this right here, this MS and one, that's Photoshop, but it's to signify what these symbols stand for.
Right.
Scott, the picture of his knuckles does not say MS-13.
The symbols.
Okay, yeah. Let me just explain to people
That
what
has
we're
not
talking
been
about
proven
here.
So she's trying to explain this away.
Yeah.
Either, Scott. None of the things you have said, they have not said so in
Let
court.
me just explain to people what we're talking about here. There are symbols on his knuckles. None of them say MS-13. However, this administration has decided that they symbolize something related to MS-13, which is disputed by a lot of people.
It's not disputed.
I am going to move on. No. Hold on.
We always have to play this game of interrupting people when they're talking.
But you're
what is
saying,
the point of me being on the show if I can never finish my freaking point.
Okay,
This is getting really annoying, Abby.
Hold on.
Everyone else has made their statements. I have yet to say anything.
Hold on a second, okay?
I mean, Jesus.
Hold on
Why
a
are you
second.
so angry?
Because I
Scott would
want to say something, and I have a point of view to make
everybody
here as
just
well.
hang on just
I
one
mean,
second.
God.
Share, Michael. Let me ask you a question. The question is,
go down.
has the government presented evidence in court that Abrego Garcia is a member of MS-13?
And my response-
And the answer is no, that has not happened in court. But it doesn't mean that they have not made those claims publicly. It doesn't mean that those claims are not in
She's so long-winded. We get it. Let him talk.
Right.
It's got to be frustrating. I bet he wanted to scream on that show.
police
in
reports.
2019,
It doesn't mean that they're not in police reports. They're just not statements that were made
in
in a court case.
2019, the immigration judge at the time believed the Prince George's County gang unit and the evidence that they presented before that judge at the time that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. This is not my opinion. People can Google this crap. They can Google this. CBS reported on this. If a judge believed it in 2019, is it now all of a sudden not true?
Judge granted him a withholding of removal.
No, I acknowledge that fact.
Which is a different
I acknowledge
issue.
that fact.
Hold on.
But the point remains that a judge found the evidence to be credible that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. So now all of a sudden we're just not going to believe judges?
The judge.
I mean, we can't have it both ways.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but my only point is that the government has not presented beyond the police report. They've not actually presented the evidence to prove that he belonged to this gang.
So police reports not considered evidence before a court of law?
A police
do
report,
judges not?
Yeah, this is all a moot point. He's in the country legally. Goodbye.
Yeah. It's all. This is just a distraction.
Yeah, it's a moot point.
Consider police reports? What are we saying
but
here?
Sure, Michael, what was the original?
That's relevant.
I want to hold on. I actually want to finish the point.
It absolutely is relevant to the argument from the administration, which is that Mr. Garcia belonged to a gang as one of the reasons of deporting him out of the country. But you guys are saying there's no truth to it. There's no facts to this. That's not true. But the idea that Mr. Garcia's past doesn't matter is ludicrous. But we live in a sovereign nation, and this idea that people can just come into our country and do whatever the heck they want to do is absurd to me. And if Democrats want to die on this hill, I promise you'll regret it politically. So go right ahead. Go right ahead.
For Americans.
Go right ahead. We don't want people breaking our laws coming into our country. That is a fact.
Let me let Scott have a word, and then we'll move on.
It seems to me that the political analysis of this, though, is, and a lot of average people are looking at it this way. Why is it that we can let 20 million people into the country just walk across, whatever, and there's no real process for them to do that, but then we have to individually pick out every single person and go through years upon years upon years of paperwork and this and that and the other, and all we're trying to do is send them back to where they came from because they came here illegally in the first place.
Yeah, they're just trying to make it as difficult as possible for Trump to meet his goals and what he's trying to
They
accomplish.
want the easiest possible for them to come in and as most difficult as possible before, kicking them out. And you know why, right? Because these people are counting on our census, and those census determine how many representatives each state gets.
Yeah.
That's why Democrats are fighting so hard for these illegal pieces of trash.
They say if you deported all of the illegals in this country, Democrats would lose 15 seats in the House.
Yeah, I think it's higher.
Bare minimum. It's 15 to 20 seats.
20 million in with no process. How do you get 20 million out with years and years of people fighting every single case?
You don't.
But the reality is the crisis that put Donald Trump in the White House was caused over years and years and years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all. And now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
A lot of them came in. A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November
Abrego
polling showed
Garcia
Donald
back.
Trump.
You hear this dumb poll he just mentioned?
What did he say?
There's a poll that 54% of Americans want that MS-13 gang member back in the country.
What poll was that?
It's some CNN poll. Like I said, nobody watches CNN.
Nobody with a brain will believe that.
Yeah, you're not a credible news station. You're not a credible news outlet. That's why the top 25 shows in America, CNN has none. Zero. And this fool's quoting that poll.
Won the
That's
election.
CNN polling.
I don't, well, you know what?
You are a
Idiot.
sovereign nation, and you cannot just come into our country illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of this
Asylum
earth.
is a legal right.
If you come in illegally, you have to leave. Americans are tired of that. We do not have unlimited resources.
You know who was here illegally with a deportation order? Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right. Let's.
We're not talking about Marco Rubio.
Oh, now we're not? Now that's not relevant?
It's not
No,
relevant.
I'm talking about Marco Rubio because Marco Rubio used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used to be an advocate for Nicaraguans and Cubans. No, I know you're not.
If you come into this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people other than the black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're
A
not
lot
the
of-
same.
What? She comparing illegal immigrants to slavery.
Yeah, she called the black people that came here as slaves as illegal immigrants. I wouldn't label them illegal immigrants.
They're slaves.
They're slaves. They've been kidnapped. They've been purchased as property. I would not call them illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Illegal immigrants is when you come into a country and you decide to live there illegally.
Yeah.
Slaves came here against their will. Why would you even bring that up?
Yeah. Why would she even make that comparison, Keith? You know why? Because she's a woman.
Same as black people who were brought here against our will.
That's exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said the
work,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're
From a
not
lot
the
of
same as
different-
black people who were brought here against our
That's
will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot
across
of
the
people
border. There's
other
a big
than the
difference.
black
There is
people.
a big difference.
That's exactly what
There's
I
a
just
big
said.
difference.
That's
Share Michael,
exactly what I just
Share
said,
Michael,
Sir Michael.
and
Look at acting indignant. That's
Okay.
exactly what
It's
I
not
just
about
said.
acting indignant.
Yes, it is.
let me
You
just-
just heard.
Look how childish she is.
Yeah. What? Yeah, it's the typical woman. Especially
Share Michael.
That's other than the black
Anna
people
and
who
Share
came
Michael,
as
please.
slaves.
High ground
There are
here.
a lot of people from
Share
many,
Michael. I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came
misheard
here
what she.
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he.
Did you hear what she said? I think you misheard what she said.
Nobody misheard what she said.
Yeah,
she compared slavery. She said slaves are the same as illegal immigrants. They're totally not the same.
Yeah. That gaslighting them said you misheard what she said.
They've said that repeatedly over and over during this interview.
Yeah.
They say, I think you misheard her.
Yeah.
No, y'all misinterpreting everything that he is saying and what he
And what she is saying.
yeah.
Please.
Y'all don't have reading comprehension skills.
Share Michael. I think you actually misheard what she. I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely
Yes, she
misheard.
did.
So now you're in my
Share
brain?
Michael. Listen to me for
Is
just a second.
that where we're going?
You
Share
think
Michael.
I would
Listen to me
say
for a
I who have
second.
advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people my
stop.
entire life would
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great.
stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, Share Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially
It is-
profiled.
it is-
and
And do I
unfairly
have to
treated.
remind you the history of my people?
Share
Do
Michael.
you want to
Do
go
we
there?
know? I
Do you
don't-
really
okay,
want to go
we're
there?
gonna
and
go to
know
break.
how it
Know the
goes?
history of
Raul,
your
we're going to go to
You know
break.
why?
Raul
Because
Reyes, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody else, hang tight.
history was not
We'll be right back.
erased when I was studying history like the trust.
Do I have to remind you the history of
She said our people's been racially profiled.
Well, that's what happens. When 20 million people come in illegally from below the Mexico border.
Exactly.
What do they look like?
Yeah.
Of course they're going to racially profile you.
Yeah, when people fly planes in the buildings, those people are gonna get racially profiled.
Exactly.
When my people grab a bunch of people's purses and rob them, they're gonna racially profile me. It's just human nature.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Like they don't racially profile other people.
Yeah. That's like one of the craziest episodes I ever seen on CNN.
Yeah. Those two Nimrods beside the intelligent, handsome black man, they actually think they're fighting for the Constitution. When these people walk around that Constitution, didn't abide by immigration laws, then you're going to use the Constitution to protect those same people that doesn't even care about our Constitution?
Yeah.
Man, liberals, man.
They're not liberal. They're progressive.
Progressive.
Yeah.
These people do not have it all upstairs.
But that's the Democrat Party now. They're not liberal. They're progressive. Like liberals vote for Republicans now.
Yeah. The same ones.
Yeah, but that's a complete nut show. That's a clown show.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be too smart, man, if you're saying slaves are the same as illegal immigrants who willfully walked on their own recognizances into another country.
Yeah.
Breaking their immigration laws. If you think that is the same,
That's
you're beyond stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it. No, they said that you're comparing apples to oranges. She's comparing apples to scrotum nuts. It's like two totally different things.
She's comparing apples to circumcisions. Circumcisions. I can't even say circumcisions. You're comparing apples to circumcisions. Circumcision.
You comparing apples.
Don't say it.
To semen. You got to be crazy to make that argument.
Only a woman will make that argument.
Only a progressive
woman
will make that argument.